One last thing, the government has already confirmed that the latest measure is based. We have a new cooling measure as of yesterday night, which will commence today on the 4th of July. What this measure basically means is that the holding period instead of 3 years will now go up to 4 years for somebody who is purchasing their property, and this will not have much effect on HDB owners because the HDB properties predominantly already have a 5 years minimum occupation period. But that is not to say that this measure is not applicable to HDB, because in the event that there is some issue and there is an appeal case for the HDB property and HDB allows the owner to sell before the 5 years mark, then potentially this owner may still be incurring or have to incur the percentages accordingly. What is happening now is that the very first year you sell the property after you have purchased it, the percentage will be 16% based on the selling price, and then it goes down to 12% on the third year, 8% on the second year, 4% on the fourth year, and 0% in the fifth year. This measure wasn't new. In fact, before 2017, this was exactly the measure that had been in place already. And for those of you who still remember, during that period between 2013 to 2017, the market was pretty muted. So somewhere in 2017 March, the government decided to reduce the holding period from 4 years to 3 years. So when they did it, the first year you sell the property after the purchase will be at 12%, and then 8% on the second year, 4% on the third year, and 0% at the fourth year. So what is then the impact this measure will bring? On the outlook of it, it doesn't look like the impact will be great because this tax is on sale and not on purchase. However, I do see some kind of effect because a person who is buying a property, depending on what the calculations are, you might also be looking at how much you have in your reserve fund and how much or how long this reserve fund is able to last you should you lose your job. So I noticed that over the last how many years, right, ever since we have the seller stamp duty in place, a lot of clients would actually do their calculation based on a period of 3 years because they know in the fourth year when they sell the property, they do not incur any stamp duties. So I believe that with the introduction of the new measures now to 4 years, the calculation may include the fourth year, because if you want to escape the stamp duty, you can only sell it in the fifth year. So I think that in terms of purchasing, buyers will be more careful in terms of their finances. So in terms of their offers, it may not be as bullish or optimistic after the implementation of the measure. I think as a whole, for the entire industry, this is meant to stabilize, and which can only be good for the overall market. But I think that like any other measures that are first being implemented, the impact on the market is usually a negative one, meaning to say that it actually calms everybody down, it cools everybody. So I think that it presents an opportunity for home seekers, because if the entire overall mood is down, is negative, then there might be some better opportunities in terms of buyers trying to negotiate with the sellers. The other thing that we also can look at would then also be in the segment of primary sale, which are the new launches. Typically, developers need about 3 to 4 years to build, and many times they were able to build and complete the project quite soon. So this becomes a period where before the owner of the new property could collect the keys, they could possibly be selling the property already. And it also means that they have the chance that their loans are not fully dispersed yet. So if you understand the structure for new launches, even upon the TOP, which is the time that you collect the keys, you have not had your mortgage fully dispersed, and it will take about a year later before it's fully dispersed. So it means that the return on investment can possibly be quite high, because I only put the initial down payment and I actually service the loan, and these loans are in bite sizes and in tranches, and then come to the end of the 3-year mark, in the 4th year, then I'm able to sell already. So the returns on investment is calculated based on the profits you get out of the entire transaction versus the amount of money that you have placed into this property. So this new measure means that most likely these units would only be on sale in the market. Again, it depends on when they purchase the property. If they had already purchased this property at the tail end of the launch, like 1 or 2 years after the initial launch, then definitely they would only be able to sell the property 1 or 2 years after the TOP. So this also generally means that these units that were purchased with the idea of investment may now most likely be in the market for rental as well. So could there be more supply in the rental market? Possibly so. I mean, now you do not have so many people who are able to turn over their units before they even collect their keys to the property. But you see, in all the measures that were being implemented, these are called cooling measures, and cooling measures are meant to cool the market. But a lot of times what we see is that when the general masses get used to the situation on the ground, they get used to what is happening already, the market actually resume back to the norm. So everybody thinks that, okay, this is the rule, this is the gameplay already, so we just have to bite the bullet, and then the demand and the excitement to the market return. So this was what we have seen for many years already. Yeah, of course, some measures are there to stay, and we don't see the return of the excitement yet. One example is the foreign stamp duty that is taxed at 60%. One last thing, the government has already confirmed that the latest measure is based on the exercise date and not on option or completion date. Okay, I hope this video helped in case you are thinking about how this latest measure would affect you. Bye bye.